Nalra with the Dark Templar drop now. July, I don't think has anything to see those Dark Templar there. He doesn't have any Overlords, and those Hydralisks are just getting slaughtered, and July needs to micro them away. He doesn't realize that the Hydralisks are getting killed by Nalra. He does have a Sunken there, okay, he does have an Overlord, but Nalra could easily take out that Overlord with his Corsairs, but Nalra's Corsairs are busy in July's main, trying to kill out July's Overlord, slow him down further. July has morphed all those Hydralisks that he had inside the mirror into Lurkers, trying to stop Nalra's Zealots from killing them. So that was very, very clever by July, and those Dark Templar are not going to be able to do much because of that Overlord there, and July has now got Lurkers, and one of those Lurkers actually goes through the mineral line there. So July fighting hard, he's got his lair up, he's got his hive up, and he has got advanced technology, but at the same time, he's not ahead of Nalra in resources, and Nalra has got Reavers, so all Nalra really needs is to get that fleet beacon up, get those, and Nalra also with High Templar and a shuttle, so he's got finally got a shuttle to maneuver those Reavers, but Nalra Nalra needs to get that fleet beacon up with Disruption Web so he can finish off July in this game, but it looks like he's actually going more for ground forces. July looks to be occupying the southern half of the map. He looks to be controlling the bottom lane, whereas Nalra has control over the top lane so far, and the middle lane seems to be pretty evenly contested between both players. So this match is very, very finely balanced. I would have to give Nalra a slight advantage because he does have that air superiority with those Corsairs. He does have maneuverability. July has pulled off a couple of extra drops, but Nalra is going to be prepared for that now. He does have Reavers that he can move around quickly, and July going for a Greater Spire. The only reason I can think of him building a Greater Spire is because he would want to build Devourers to combat those Corsairs. I don't think that he would have the gas to build all these Hydralisks and Lurkers and build Guardians as well. And July very carelessly losing a lot of Hydralisks, not waiting for his Overlord, moving those Hydralisks north and getting taken out by the Dark Templar. So that was very careless, and he's forced to retreat those Hydralisks to the safety of that sunken line, to that sunken. Nalra continuing to have air superiority with those Crosshairs. I feel it's only a matter of time before Nalra puts out the Corsair Reaver drop and decimates July's base. July only has a couple of expansions, and Nalra now has a lot of Reavers, and July is going to find it very hard to combat those Reavers. He does have a lot of Lurkers spread out in the middle lane, very, very well spread out. And July now moving forward with the help of that Overlord, taking out those Dark Templar. July needs to do something. He needs to slow down Nalra's economy or pressure him somehow, but it's going to be very, very difficult considering the fact that Nalra has got 5 Reavers built up, and it does take time to build it up, and Nalra is building yet another expansion at the 1 o'clock position, and Nalra with a fantastic job behind July's main with 4 High Templar kills off all of July's main. Those drones got slaughtered. All of July's drones got taken out. He's now morphing them to Archons, but July should be able to take them out with those Mutalisks before those Archons are actually completed into warping, and that Archon is completed merging, so therefore he's not going to be able to take that out. He's going to need, and Nalra very, very cleverly going for July's Greater Spire, because he knows if he takes that tech down, July's going to be in trouble. July trying to fight with a Mutalisk, and oh my god, just another large batch of July drones just got slaughtered, so July's economy taking a real pounding. Nalra pulling ahead in this game. July's finally going to be able to take those, and Nalra brilliant micro again, focusing on July's drones. Even though those Hydralisks were killing his Archons, he focused on the drones to hurt July's economy further, and July's economy has taken a significant hit. Even though July did a great attack on Nalra's Nexus, Nalra did manage to move his probes out of there, so he didn't lose any probes even though he lost that Nexus. But July has lost a lot of his drones, and he's going to have to try and rebuild those to try and catch up back in economy. He does have another base now building at the 9 o'clock position. Both players macroing very, very heavily, expanding and building a lot of bases, but I would have to give a slight advantage to Nalra. July needs to do something about Nalra's economy. He needs to slow it down. Nalra has got a significant force lined up now just outside July's main in the top lane, and July doesn't know about that. July is not anticipating this if Nalra does choose to attack, but Nalra does need a few more forces. He might be making for it, and Nalra moves in with Zealots. An excellent Storm goes off. Nalra using Storm to excellently hold off July's Hydralisks, and and looks like July's going to lose a lot of tech here because Nalra has got his forces in there, and July needs to come back and kill those forces. Another great Storm goes off. Storm all over the place. Nalra just creating a sea of psionic storms all over July's main, and July now morphing those Mutalisks. He must be trying to make Devourers or Guardians, I'm not sure, but he's morphing those Mutalisks, and Nalra July now has enough Hydralisks to push Nalra back, and Nalra being forced to pull back, and Nalra drops 2 Reavers. Nalra should bring his Zealots back to defend those 2 Reavers, and he does, but one of those Reavers looks like it's coming under fire and gets taken out, but the second Reaver survives, and another Storm goes off over July's forces, and Nalra microing his troops very, very well, storming everything of July's inside, and July having a very, very tough time. He does have those Mutalisks, and he's morphed them as well. Nalra seems to be out of storms. Another Storm goes off on those morphed units, and one of July's Guardians pops out, but it's very low on health, but Nalra does not have any Dragoons or anything to attack that, but July has lost his spawning pool, and he's lost his Extractor in his base. He's also lost his Queen's Nest, so Nalra ripping July's tech buildings up. He's going to take out down that Evolution Chamber, and that's going to be very bad for July. July does have his Guardians up. He needs to focus that Reaver down before he loses his Greater Spire as well, because he's going to be in severe trouble if he loses that Greater Spire. July only has a couple of gas though, so he's going to have a hard time combating Nalra now after losing his main, and Nalra now setting up defensive forces outside July, and this looks very, very bad for July because Nalra is now coming forward with Dragoons and High Templar, and this looks very, very bad for July. He doesn't have a lot of forces, and I'm not sure if he's going to have enough to combat Nalra's next attack. Definitely July in trouble here. Nalra's economy remains unharassed. July still hasn't recovered from that massive drop behind July's main with those 4 Templar that took out his drones. July trying to move forward. Another brilliant storm goes off. A lot of July's hardest get taken down. Nalra is now moving inside July's main with further Zealots and Dragoons, and Nalra is just getting his troops ready. He needs to wait for those Templar before he goes for another attack. Is he coming with another shuttle and another Reaver? And Nalra, July now fighting with everything he's got. His units are bunched up together. Ideal candidate for a storm. Nalra's Templar aren't there though. He's just fighting with Dragoons. That's a bit wasteful of Nalra. He's not microing that very well, but he's got Zealots to support, and he's got his Crosshair to take out July's air units, and July now in deep trouble. He's only got a handful of high lists, and this has to be game. I have to say, GG. And another drop. Oh my god, July's drones just getting ravaged all over the place by Nalra's drops. Nalra multitasking beautifully, but I have to feel bad for July. I do feel that July on the balance deserved to win that game more because he withstood Nalra's rush, and therefore he should have been able to counter, but he was not because of the mineral line, and Nalra was able to get back in the game, build up his economy and win. And I have to say that says a lot for the balance of this matchup. If a Protoss, after having committed all those resources to a rush and failing in that rush, is still able to come out on top with the victory. But nevertheless, you cannot take anything away from Nalra. He played perfectly. Despite that rush going very, very badly, he did everything right after that and has done everything to counter July. And you have to feel that this game is coming to an end. You have to feel that there is really nothing. July's economy is devastated, and there you go. July says it. He calls it GG, game over. July loses, Nalra wins. I am absolutely gutted for July, but well played, Nalra. This is going to a tiebreaker. Thanks for listening. This is Clazart.